Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar on compliance e-learning. Hi, my name's Karen Faragella. I'm the e-learning manager at Enbridge Consulting. We're a technology consultancy and can help you with implementing ERP systems, managing your ERP system, and my area of expertise is training. So we offer training not just in ERP systems, but also in content matter you have. This webinar, though, is going to focus on compliance e-learning. Just to mention, if you do have a question, please pop it into the chat and we'll come to questions at the end. So I thought what I'd look at in this webinar is why e-learning works for compliance subject matter. Let's face it, compliance training isn't everyone's favourite type of training, but it is an integral part of your brand's learning and development strategy. It's really important you deliver an effective solution for your employees. So delivering engaging compliance training can make real business sense. To take it to the extreme, boring content is dangerous content. Employees won't take it in and potentially could get you into trouble, not complying to regulations or causing accidents. So compliance training that fails to engage is a real waste of time for everyone involved. So I thought we'd look at how we can make it more engaging. So it doesn't have to be boring. So I've got a couple of points that I'm going to go through to explain how you can make your compliance learning a lot more engaging. I've put in some examples of our work as we go through as well, and as I said, happy to take any questions at the end. So I'll cover a bit off on what we can offer as well and what you can do to get started. So why e-learning? Why e-learning for compliance? Well, it's a great way of delivering your compliance training because you can reach everyone with e-learning. It's there for everyone to view wherever they may be. It's really cost effective because with one piece of learning you can reach across the globe. You can track progress and completion, so that fulfills all your mandatory training and reporting obligations. So all your reports for auditing purposes as well are all there, and you can use scenarios and case studies to really bring it alive as well. So a great tool for reaching out no matter what the compliance subject is. So there's two different types of e-learning that you can pop e-learning into. You can have off-the-shelf content, so you can purchase off-the-shelf content. There's a plethora of different e-learning companies that can offer you off-the-shelf content, so content that's ready to go on numerous different compliance subjects to fulfill any type of training requirements on compliance, from like really small bite-sized 2-minute videos to longer hour-plus courses, or even courses that form part of the whole program. So 15 courses that make up a whole compliance library on something. There's a lot on the market and can provide really good material, especially if you're on a budget. So most prices are based on licenses and annual subscriptions, and many have been verified by governing bodies as well, or have also been verified that they are continual professional development credits as well. So lots and lots out there to use in off the shelf. So that's one way you can get hold of your compliance training. Or you could go down the bespoke route. We do offer a small library of off-the-shelf products, but where I think speciality is in bespoke, and this I think can really work as a solution if you have more detailed and specific issues in your organisation that a general course isn't going to address. So what you get with a bespoke piece of e-learning is real issues that deal with your particular organisation. So particularly if you've got nuanced processes and policies, that's where you can have tailored content directly that reflects your organisational culture. You can add in extra relevant resources, so you can add in links to where your policy documents are kept, so people have got a one place that fits all. You can tailor case studies and scenarios, so really beneficial, so people really understand how that impacts them in their workplace, and you own that content as well. So no licenses at all. That's your content that you can use for as long as you like, with as many people as you like. Compliance training doesn't have to be boring. Wouldn't it be fantastic if people did your e-learning and this was the reaction they got? So whether you choose off the shelf or bespoke, you don't have to have boring, repetitive e-learning at all. So you really want your compliance training to be more than just a tick box exercise. People need to gain the knowledge. That's the reason why they're doing the e-learning. It's not just simply a case for reporting to regulators. People need to understand the content that they're seeing. So there's a number of things you can do to make your training really want your users to take part in it and come back for more. Believe me, I know what it's like. I've been part of an in-house training team, and trying to get people to or do a training course that you need to report back 100% to a regulator that everyone has done, and chasing people up constantly all the time. So here's my top tips for making your compliance training engaging. So number one, have tailored learning scenarios. So a great way of making your training relevant, and I'm so passionate about training has to be relevant to users. Otherwise, why are people taking it? You've got to answer that question. What's in it for me? Why am I taking this? So to make it really relevant, I think it's great to add in scenarios that can really bring it alive. So this to me makes the connection. These scenarios make that connection between that dry document on compliance, that legislation, as to how you actually apply it in the workplace. And this is how scenarios I think are really, really key. So you can build really applicable and practical solutions that really test learners' understandings as well. So they can be slightly fun, slightly tongue-in-cheek, but you can also have really demanding scenarios that really test people's understanding. And you can use them in a number of different ways. So you can use it to test people's understanding, or you can use it after you've shown content to test their understanding, or you can use it before to direct them to gaps in their knowledge as well. So you could actually start off, what a great way to start off a compliance piece of training that everyone thinks, hey, I know this subject, I've done it before. Why not kick off with a really demanding scenario that actually takes them down a path that says, you don't know it all. You do need to take this learning and fill that gap in your knowledge. So we have used scenarios with a number of different clients. I've just got a short example here of a scenario for you that we've used. So this is part of a bigger health and safety course. There we go. This is on fire and evacuation, this little scenario here. So turn up, grabbing a coffee, and there's a smoke coming out of the office door. So it's a bit, what do you do now? So you've got a number of different pathways to take in this scenario. So, do you sound the alarm? Do you run for the exit? And we're going to sound the alarm on this one. But we're going to collect our belongings, which we all know you shouldn't do, just for the purposes of this. Oh, it's just showing what happens if you do. You get out of the building, but you've got a bit of smoke inhalation. So you're getting a bit of you shouldn't have done that. And the end result is not that wasn't the right choice. You can go back and you can retry the scenario, or you can continue because you've seen really what you should have done. So that's my first tip was use scenarios. My second tip to keep your compliance learning engaging is keep your courses interactive. So read, clicking next, read, clicking next, read, clicking next, etc. Pretty dull, pretty uninspiring. Absolutely, there's got to be some reading, but you need to mix it up with some interactions where the user's got to think, make a decision. So if you put in interactions like that every 3 slides, it breaks it up, gives it a great balance. So this is just another example that's actually in the course that you've just seen, on the health and safety one. A little bit of question leading down the path of stress as well. So how a little bit of guessing a percentage, just to get people thinking and break up the reading of the legislation. Point number 3, make objectives clear and user focused. So people need to know why they're completing the training. As I said, what's in it for them? What are they going to get out of it? So if you're setting your objectives up really clear, really user focused right at the beginning, you start to gain people's interest. They understand why they need to take that training. This one, know how to log risks, reducing the likelihood of being caught in a risk incident, or whatever's relevant to your course. So objectives can be introduced in different ways. So they could be introduced in the form of questions. Whether you get them right or wrong could highlight why further training is required. So there's different ways you can introduce objectives as well. They haven't just got to be a bullet pointed list. Next point is personalize that learning as well. So get people increase the engagement, see that it's relevant, it's talking to them. Just simple things like using someone's name starts to personalize that journey. So it can be as simple as just using a welcome Andrew here, as we've got, or it can be more complex than that. So compliance, people have got to take it regularly, sometimes annually, sometimes more often than that. A lot of your employees may be really experienced in the subject matter. So why not set up a course that starts off with really demanding questions, people answer them, or it has an alternative pathway through it. If people get all the questions right at the beginning, maybe they see a shorter amount of information. The test is still at the end, so to check they have got that understanding, but they sort of fast track through areas that they've got a greater awareness of, and so they can focus more on other development areas. I believe that Virgin have started to apply this within their compliance learning. So, it's a tool that people are using that's out there. I think it's a great way of making it more relevant to individuals as well. So, yeah, personalize your learning journeys. As well, this is something we're very passionate about as a company, is have intelligent questions. So I don't know if anyone's ever tried to take a test without reading any of the bump before and passed it, but I have seen some compliance learning that you actually can do that, and sometimes it's because the answers are too easy. The questions are, there's one choice that isn't obvious, a fun ha-ha choice, the right answer, and so the test is just too easy in a multiple choice. So they need to be intelligent questions that challenge people to make sure they really have understood that content, because that's the whole point really of compliance learning. It's stuff we need to know, stuff we need to be getting right. Break the mold. Ask some challenging questions in your learning. Use case studies. Use case studies that are relevant to your industry. Build them in so people can see, actually, there's a consequence if I don't do this, and it's happened. This is real. This could happen. So yeah, put case studies again that are relevant to your industry and organisation. Gamification as well, been very buzzy and popular sort of the last 5 years within the world of e-learning. But another way that can be used to engage people, there's some really good compliance games out on the market. I know that Sponge, e-learning company, have got a great GDPR course out there. So gamification can be as simple as navigating challenges, gaining points and badges along the way to help incentivize people, to create a bit of fun and buzz, or it can be, really intricate games to get people's interest. I know people have very different thoughts on gamification, but it can be a way to really boost engagement and add a bit more fun into what sometimes can be perceived as a boring, dry subject. Another way to really boost that engage your users is storytelling. Telling a story really helps learners become immersed in a learning experience, and can really help sometimes that complex information become more memorable. A list of different acts that you need to abide by because of legislation sometimes can be quite difficult to remember, but seeing that put into a story, making it come alive, can really help with the retention. Stories really help people to come emotionally connected to the subject matter. And that's often why there's a disconnect with people's interest in a compliance e-learning, because there's no emotional connection with that. Good story will help people think, enable them to apply that knowledge, and they can think about when they can encounter that same situation in the real world. The stories, need to fit with your content. Don't just crowbar a story in there for the sake of telling a story. But if you can get the tone right and don't make it too long, it can be a little bit fun as well. So stories are a great way. I've just got a couple of examples here of how we've done that. So this is a brief. They both happen to be on the same subject matter, but very different approaches, as you'll see. So this is a very brief, short video on money laundering, this one. One way you can tell a story, and on the same subject matter, actually, the next one is also on money laundering. But with this one, we took a different storytelling approach. So the inspiration for this money laundering one is a bit of sort of a film noir, the old detective stories. So this is someone starting a new job in a sort of a detective styly way. So you're going to be that detective, that money laundering detective, and find out what's going on in your organization as part of your new job. So rather than sort of just a click and read through, you've got to investigate, work your way around the desk, newspaper articles, and also it takes you through a week. So each day you find something, a little bit more information out to solve the problem at the end of the day. So it's like obviously an introduction, sets it up, and then you're into Monday. So hopefully you'll see from this example, just a little different way of approaching a piece of compliance training that isn't just click next. Hopefully a more engaging way of approaching a subject. And there we go. Yeah. So again, still got questions in and things for people to do. Still got information for people to read, but a slightly different approach. And I've got one more example. So this is for a client as well. Again, a different approach to a compliance piece that they had. Just show you.
Welcome to Complaint Handling. In this course, we're going to explore what a complaint is and what this means for you and B&CE as a business. First of all, what exactly is a complaint? The Financial Conduct Authority define a complaint as any oral or written expression of dissatisfaction, whether justified or not, from or on behalf of a person about the provision of or failure to provide a financial service. Or a redress determination which alleges that the complainant has suffered or may suffer financial loss, material distress, or material inconvenience, and relates to an activity of that respondent or of any other respondent with whom that respondent has some connection in marketing or providing financial services or products, which comes under the jurisdiction of the Financial Ombudsman. That means if a customer indicates that they're unhappy with any aspect of the product or services we provide, we need to recognize that as a complaint and take appropriate action to deal with the situation. That could mean a member being unhappy when they haven't received the information they should have when being enrolled in a scheme, or an employer who's unhappy with the service provided when they opened an account with us. Complaints come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes, and sometimes are difficult to detect, so it's important that we're extra vigilant and handle them in the correct way. Continue with the course to discover your responsibilities and the process to follow to handle complaints.
So that was an example of the start of a course we did for B&CE on complaint handling. So to write, boom, right, here we go, this is what the course is going to be about, to start off and hopefully gain users' engagement in that. I think it's been very well received. So how can we help you? So as I said, we have a very small library of off the shelf, if that's what you're looking for on compliance issues, or we can do bespoke, tailored to you. We've got experience in developing content in across various different sectors and a wide variety of different compliance issues. We're very cost effective. We price on a fixed price basis, so training is yours to use as many users as you like for as long as you like once it's yours. Always happy to have a call if you just want to have a chat about potentially getting started with compliance e-learning. So if you are getting started, what are the type of decisions you need to think about? So a whole range of different things. You know, what exactly does your training need to be on? What do you currently have? Does it work? If not, why not? What do your employees need to know? What fits your organization? What budget do you have? Various different questions to start thinking about how you get started with maybe moving your compliance training online to leverage those benefits of making it more cost effective, reaching out to everybody, having those resources available and having them as reference tools as well that people can go back to. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Really appreciate you joining us. If you've got any questions, my email address is there. Please feel free to email me directly or come through the website. Again, if you've got Twitter, that would be great to follow us on Twitter. Our training Twitter handle is @GladSolutions. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and hopefully get to speak to you about compliance e-learning soon, making it fun and engaging. Thank you very much.